Hello, everybody. Hello. 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 Hello, everybody. Welcome to 10-Minute Reviews. I'm Jason. This is Freya. Sorry about that, guys. She's very excited at the moment. Now we're bringing you today's video. We're going to be talking about an author that we've talked about in the past, just a book that we haven't talked about quite yet. I see you with your little toy. Go on. Good catch. As always, guys, please hit the like and subscribe buttons. We appreciate all that support from you guys. We're just a small family channel. We're going to keep doing this anyway. We love to talk about books. Love to talk about books. Sorry if I'm talking funny. You got a cut in my tongue. So, today, all right, I see you, baby. I got your toy. Today I want to talk about Louis Lamour and his book, Valley of the Sun. One thing you guys might have noticed is that lately I've been rereading a lot of his collections of short stories, and this is one of them. Guys, I'm a huge fan of Louis Lamour's short story collections for a couple of reasons. One, I think it's a great way to kind of enter into his books, because he brings up so many of his characters, a lot of his characters that end up showing up in other books, and you kind of get a view of how he sees the world, how he sees the Old West, and how he sees his characters. And sometimes you actually see characters that show up in another book slightly different, almost like an earlier incarnation of the character, or you could tell he just likes certain names. I don't know, because most of these books were so long ago that it's hard to say if there's no accounts anywhere of, did he name some of his characters after friends of his or family or things along those lines. But Valley of the Sun, this is one of the best ones I have read in quite a while, as far as his collections of short stories go, because of the characters. Now this one is, I think there's only 5 stories, 6 stories, 2, 4, 6, there's 8 stories in there. But this one has some of his best characters. Now, exactly like I was saying earlier, he does have the character of Rye Tyler. Now, Rye Tyler shows up in another book and basically starts almost from a child and turns himself into a legend. And I can tell that this was written before he ever wrote that book about Rye Tyler, and either he really liked the name and he ended up using it later, or forgot, because a lot of his short stories were published in magazines and things along those lines, little serials. It's basically how he was making his money at one point. So he may not remember everything he wrote. He was a very, very prolific author. He'll remember names and stuff like that. But he may write a book and he may have written a book and figured, hey, I like the name. Nobody is gonna tie it to this short story in this tiny little magazine that paid me $20, 5 years ago, 15 years ago, whatever it may be. So, almost a totally different character, except in mentality. But not only do we have Rye Tyler in there, who was, by the way, that was an awesome book, but you also have Ward McQueen. Now, we've talked about Ward McQueen in the past. Typically, a lot of the short stories that come up about Kim Sartain. Ward McQueen is is Sartain's boss, basically. Also a notable gunfighter, possibly even on a level above Sartain. It's tough to tell, because obviously they never go up against each other, and both of them have similar reputations within the ranch that they work on. And in a lot of ways, this is almost an origin story, which is why, again, with the Rye Tyler thing and now with the Ward McQueen thing, and with another name I'm going to bring up in just a minute, it really feels like a lot of these are his earlier short stories, which is, again, really cool. It gives you a look into his earliest writings. So this is basically Ward McQueen's origin story. This is how he ties in with Kim Sartain and with Ruth, I believe her name was, and the ranch that he ends up tying himself up with. So really cool, kind of an introduction to Sartain, introduction to Ward McQueen, and all in all, just a cool little book. Now, along with that, he has a story about a character named Jim Sartain. I don't know if he just likes the name or what, but another really, really interesting and really cool story. This time, the Sartain character is not a cowboy, he is a ranger. He's a Texas Ranger, and this book really, or this short story rather, really shows Mr. Lamour's mentality when it came to ranchers in the Old West, and how a lot of them, while they might be stubborn, it was a hard time. Hard times, a hard world they were living in, and not all of them were all that bad. So this really shows that. This really shows how some of these hard-charging, hard-headed, on the surface, evil or mean or bullying types really weren't. And once their eyes were open a little bit to how they were acting, or once they were actually faced with poor people or people that were in need of help, well, back then too, especially out in the Old West, that again, hard times, hard life, hard world, neighbors were a very big thing, and helping your neighbors was a very, very, very big thing. So that's really shown in this particular short story. And then one of my favorite characters shows up in another short story, the Cactus Kid. Cactus Kid shows up, and in a way, this almost feels like a kind of a departure from other Cactus Kid stories, because he's a lot of times in this particular short story, he finds himself at a disadvantage, which is kind of rare for the Cactus Kid, because in a lot of Cactus Kid short stories, he's just got them. He's just outthinks them, outdraws them, outspeeds them, outtoughs them, outfights them, outrides them, outwhips them. He basically he beats them all, because he's supposedly a little local legend within his area. So in this one, he kind of finds himself more as an underdog. Kind of odds are stacked against him fairly often, but still absolutely fascinating. So guys, if you're a Louis L'Amour fan, or if you're not, you haven't been introduced to it yet, his collections of short stories are fantastic, and this is one of his best. This is the best one that I've reread in quite some time. He's got so many books I can't remember them all, so I've been going through rereading the ones I had, buying new ones, and yeah, just picked up this one yesterday actually. Really good, really good. So after you guys hit the like and subscribe buttons, guys, go check out Louis L'Amour. He's absolutely phenomenal author, and he's perfect for just short, entertaining books. Thank you everybody for watching, and we will catch you next time. Bye now.